everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new then hi, my name is Caitlin and today I'm going to be I just bit my tongue. Wow, sorry, let's start that again. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the second update for my 101 pans project. So this was a project I originally started on my Instagram page, but I decided to bring it back over to YouTube and I am trying to hit 101 pans. It's scary. It's scary. Now, it's a little bit annoying because technically I do have 45 pans in my collection, but I've only started counting for this project since my birthday. In update 1, I did go through all of the pans 1 to 8, and in this video I'm going to be doing 9 to 16. So we've got 16, which is good. We've got a pretty good way, to be honest, since September. 16 pans in about 5 months isn't too bad. It isn't too bad, but this project is going to take a long time. But anyway, let's just get into it and let's talk about these juicy pans. So pan number 9 is this shade here. This is Sleep Paralysis from my Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette. I did depot this palette and I hit this in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. So this took 21 uses to hit pan on. It's quite a difficult shade, but I did have it in the winter, which I'm very happy about. I think it did actually originally roll in the summer, but it did kind of overlap into the winter, which is where it got most use. It actually made me fall in love with more like cool toned greys, which I'm really happy about, and that's why I love the Pan Those Eyeshadows project so much. It lets me play around with things. But this formula is quite loose. It's not like a really pressed shimmer, which I'm very happy about. Yeah, not much to say about this one. It's a nice shade. I'm glad that I had it and I'm glad that I hit pan on it. I'm glad that I got to use it and play with it and love it. But I'm happy putting it back. Next we have my Bellapierre's All Stars palette, and this is the pan here. This is the 7th shade. This was also in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. This was a really easy shade to hit pan on. It's just a lid shimmer shade. It went really nicely with this shade down here, which I hit pan on, which I spoke about in last update. But yeah, it's really easy. These pans are really shallow and the mattes have so much kick up. The shimmers are really flaky, so they're so easy to hit pan on. I do want to hit pan on more shades in this palette very soon. I really do love this palette. If you saw my palette ranking, you will know I really love this palette. I think it's a beautiful palette and I'm really glad that it's looking more loved. We have 3 pans in here so far, and in 2022 I really want much more. So hopefully in upcoming updates you will see lots more of this palette because I really love it. I really want to hit pan in this blue shade here. It's got a big dip, and then this mauve has quite a bit of a dip as well. But yeah, I'm glad that we hit pan on that. A very easy shade. It did not take very long at all. Next comes from my Lethal Cosmetics custom made palette. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it is very me. This is my makeup aesthetic and this fits it perfectly. And this is the shade right here. This actually, it wasn't even in a project. I was just using it as it is. I think this whole palette was in a project 10 uses, but it wasn't like a hit pan project. I just used it in my brows. Because it was in a project, actually it was with all my Shop My Stash picks, and this shade just suited my brows the best. So I was using it every single day in my brows and it took me less than a month to hit pan, which it's made me very happy because now I know that this palette is quite easy to pan. So if I do roll one of these shades in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, I won't be too nervous about it. Obviously I love all of these shades anyway. I custom made it, so I handpicked them all. But yeah, I'm really happy that I have pan in this. It was quite a shock actually because it's such a new palette. I only got this a few months ago, so yeah, pan in it was definitely surprising. But I am glad that we do have pan in it. Makes it look a little bit more loved, but I think it's time for the rest of the shades to catch up because the rest of it looks unused. Next we have my Aha Honey palette. And this is the shade Palooza. It is just the glitter shade. I'm really not sure. Yeah, you can see the pan there. It's washing me out so bad. Because it was a pressed glitter, it was very, very easy to hit pan on because it shifts a lot. Every time you put your brush in, it all shifts around. Very, very easy. This wasn't in a project, this was just in my own use. And yeah, I'm very glad I hit pan on it because pressed glitters I don't really use a lot. So I am glad that this specific shade is looking quite loved. I do want the rest of the palette to catch up. I dropped this shade because I'm a klutz. And then this shade up here was in a Pan Those Eyeshadows project, but I am probably going to roll it into another project soon. I'm keeping quiet, but I do want pan in that one as well. So hopefully there is going to be some use in this palette because it is a little bit neglected, I'm not going to lie. Next is my beloved Book of Magic palette. I love this palette so much. This was in my This Is Fantasy project pan, and this is the shade Bewitched. And as you can see, I have hit pan. I heard so many people saying that this formula was so easy to hit pan on. It's, you know, it takes 5 uses, it's so kick-uppy, the pans are so shallow. This took me 17 uses to hit pan on, so I was a little bit shocked. Every time I used it, I was like, today's the day, but no. But I am glad that I pushed myself, I hit pan on it. It's only a tiny, tiny, tiny pan. I did end up using quite a small brush to put it in my inner corners. A lot of the time it looked beautiful in my inner corners. So I'm glad that I did that. But yeah, this is just a tiny, tiny pan. I want the rest of this palette to look loved as well. So 2022 is this palette's year. I will get so much more use out of it. And I really can't wait for that. This whole palette, I think this ranked number 3 in my palette ranking. I love it so much. It is unreal. And the fact that it only has 1 pan in it from a project is criminal. Because, I mean, you can see my makeup today. This is exactly what I reach for. Maybe not the purples, but everything else is, I love. Next we have 2 pans from the Carnival XL Pro. This is my second favourite palette, I think I ranked it. Yeah, I think I ranked it number 2. So, the first shade is Lights Out, which is this black shade. We did have pan in Pep Talk already. That was in a Pan Those Eyeshadows project. Lights Out, that was just a natural use, a natural pan, and I hit pan on it. I knew that I was going to hit pan on it very, very soon, so I kind of focused on this palette for a few days because I knew that I would hit this pan. And also, ta-da! In Make Waves. So Make Waves is the blue shade up here. Obviously I hit pan in a blue. I love blue. I love blue eyeshadow so much. So this really wasn't that hard to hit pan on. I actually hit pan on it doing this eye look today. I adore this palette so much. I want to get more use out of it. I think the next pan is going to be the Hype, which is this green shade. There is a pretty big dip in that. So yeah, I am hoping to see pan in that. I struggle to like work on this palette just because it's so big. That's one of the things I would say. It is massive. So pulling it out to work on is a challenge. But as I said, I do want to get more pans in this. I just love this palette so much. It is such good quality. And yeah, I'm really happy that it is looking a little bit more used. I mean, it doesn't really look that used. But I mean, 3 pans is pretty good. And I love this, I just love this palette. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm glad that this monster is a little bit more used. And last but not least, this pan was actually also hit, that's the word. This pan was actually hit today as well as Make Waves, and that is in my Pastel Roses single in the shade Starlight. This was in my This Is Fantasy project pan, and I'm hoping you can see there, it is right up here, the pan. It's really hard to see because this shade is so shimmery, but I mean, yeah, you can see it there, I think. I'm not sure. But I love this shade. I would use this shade for the rest of my life. I love it. It just makes just any shimmer 10 times better and 10 times more reflective and duochromy and just beautiful. It is magic. It is just like Starlight. So I'm so glad that I hit pan on that. I'm actually really sad putting it back in my collection. Normally when I hit pan on shades, I'm like, yes, thank God, get it out. But I use this over 30 times and I still absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite shades and I can't get enough of it. So that is 9 to 16. We're just dipping our toe into this project still, but I mean, I'm not complaining because it gives me something to work towards, and all of these project pans that I'm doing outside of 101 pans are just adding to the progress in this project, and that makes me really, really happy. Don't forget, I do loads of other project pans. I'm doing so many this year. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but that's okay. That's okay. I think we're gonna do really well in 2022. It is my year of panning, so stick around for that. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe because it would mean the world to me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!